Class 11 students, welcome back to the online tutorials. Let's learn the grammar topic from Unit 3, voice, as in active and passive voice. Okay, we will start with some example sentences. Take a look at the 4 examples given here. 1. Mary wrote this poem. This poem was written by Mary. Sentence 1 and 2 delivers the same meaning. Take a look at the third example. The plane drops the cargo. The cargo is dropped by the plane. Third and the fourth sentence convey the same meaning. Now, what is happening here? Let us examine this sentence in a little more detail. Now, in sentence 1, Mary is the subject of the verb wrote, and this poem is the object. Mary, third person proper noun, is the subject of the verb wrote, which has an object, this poem. In sentence 3, the plane is the subject of the verb drops. The cargo is the object of the verb drops. In sentence 1 and 3, the form of the verbs wrote, drops shows that the person or the thing denoted by the subject, that is Mary and the plane, does something. It is given in bold here. It is highlighted because it has a special significance. Now, the subject Mary and the plane does something in the sentence. What does the subject Mary does? Writes or wrote a poem. Here, what does the subject plane does? It drops the cargo. Thus, the verb wrote and drops are said to be in active voice since it acts, since it does something. The subject of the sentence does something, acts something. It is called the active voice. So we have the definition. A verb is in the active voice when its form shows that the person or the thing denoted by the subject does something. This is important, okay? When the person or the thing denoted by the subject, as in the plane or the Mary, in our earlier example, Mary and the plane does something, the sentence is said to be in the active voice. So the definition once again, my dear students, a verb is in the active voice when its form shows that the person or the thing denoted by the subject does something. The second and the fourth examples are reproduced here for our convenience sake. Take a look. This poem was written by Mary. The cargo is dropped by the plane. Now, in sentence 2 and 3, what is happening? The form of the verbs was written, is dropped, shows that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject. Something is done to this subject denoted by the subject. Something is done. What is done to the poem? It is been, or it was written by Mary. What is been done to the cargo? It is dropped by the plane. In the above example, something is done to this poem. It was written. The cargo dropped. So, in the above example, something is done to this poem, the cargo. The person or the thing denoted by the subject. Okay? I believe you are following, my dear students. Thus, the verb was written, is dropped, is said to be in the passive voice. Okay? Once more. The verb was written, is dropped, as in our example sentences here. Okay? Was written, is dropped, shows that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject. This will show that something is done to the subject, this poem and the cargo. If you look what has been done to the cargo, it has been dropped by the plane. What has been done to what has been done to the poem? It is being written by, or it was written by, Mary. Thus, the verb was written is dropped is said to be in the passive voice. What does the definition say? A verb is in the passive voice when its form shows that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject. Right? A verb is said to be in the passive voice when its form shows that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject. Again, thus we have the definition of the voice. Voice is that form of a verb which shows whether what is denoted by the subject does something or has something done to it, which means if we go back to the example, okay, either this subject Mary and the plane will be doing something in the active voice, or in the passive voice something will be done to this poem or the cargo, the subject. Okay, that is what it means. Okay, moving forward, we have a table. This table is given in your textbook also. It will be slightly different with variation in example. Try to have your own example. My dear students, try to have your own examples. I have given a very simple, fairly very simple example here. Okay, what is this table showing? This table shows, or table showing, how verb is changed into the passive form in different tenses. In different tenses, the topic tenses, it is discussed in detail in a, a video tutorial for class 12. My dear students, please go through that. I can understand you're in class 11, doesn't mean that you don't have to watch grammar topics from class 11. These are a very general grammar topics starting from your high school. So if you have somehow forgotten some concepts, please go through the video tutorials from class 12. It is clearly discussed here at length, uh, so that you can learn something. Now, this table will show how a verb changes its form in a different tense situation. All right. So, tense: active voice, passive voice, simple, present. In the active voice, Rohan eats an apple. Now, this will be changed into the passive voice in simple present. An apple is eaten by Rohan. Notice what is changing: is eaten. We have the preposition by and the agent, or the object Rohan. Okay, there is a change in position of the subject and the object. Rohan is shifted to the subject position, and apple is shifted to the, I'm sorry, Rohan is shifted to the object position, and apple is shifted to the subject position, and the verb simple present eats is given in the past participle form, is eaten. Okay, now in the present continuous tense, Rohan is eating an apple. In the passive form, this will be an apple is being written by Rohan. Alright? Past perfect, Rohan has eaten an apple. In the past perfect, in the passive, an apple has been eaten by Rohan. Present perfect continuous, Rohan has been eating an apple. Now you see the asterisk mark here. We don't have, or rather, we in modern English, or in English now, we don't use the present perfect continuous tense in the passive form. We don't use it in regular speech or writing. Likewise, okay. uh, all the past present perfect continuous, for that matter, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, and the future tense, future continuous, and future perfect continuous. All the asterisk marks that is given here. Okay, you see here. It is explained here. The passive form of the present, past, and future perfect continuous tenses are less commonly used, or in fact not used, in your normal speech and writing. Okay, that's why it is not given. uh, please go through all the sentences, how the sentences change is verb in different tense scenario: past, future, and present. Present, past, and the future. Okay, it is given in your textbook also. I have just reproduced this here for your convenience sake, and to explain to you the next slide, that is what happens when we change an active voice to sum up. What happens when we change a sentence from active voice to passive voice? The previous example is reproduced here. Mary wrote this poem. In the passive form, it will be this poem was written by Mary. The subject and the object position is interchanged, right? Mary goes here to the object position. Okay, this poem, the object position is occupied by, now it is in the subject position. This is what it means. Passive voice, preposition by added before the object. This is what I was talking about. Okay, in the passive voice, the preposition by is added in order to introduce an agent. Okay, Mary, which occupies the object position. Verb changes according to the number and person of the subject. We will have a slight correction here. This is supposed to be person, this is supposed to be off. There's a typing error there. Now, verb changes according to the number and person of the subject. This is common knowledge, how verb has to agree with the subject in terms of person and number. Okay, that we have learned in our lower classes also. So if had it been these poems, this will have been were written by Mary, but since it's singular, this poem was written by Mary. That is what it means here. Now, the last word of any verb in the passive form is written in the past participle form. Okay, participles, another important topic. Refer it to the video that is listed in your YouTube for grammar classes. Participles are also discussed at length. Please refer to the video for more information. The passive form is written, the any verb in the passive form is written in the past participle form like this. Written. Okay, participle is a word which is partly a verb and partly an adjective. It has the present participle and the past participle. Okay, in the passive voice we usually use the form of the past participle, like in written, taken, eaten, right? So that is what it means here. So this is a sum up of what happens to a sentence when we change it from active voice to passive voice. Okay, okay, now coming to the exercises, we have 3 exercises listed in your textbook: A, B, and C on your page 56. It's fairly simple. I would request all of you to attempt all the exercises on your own for clarity. Okay, for clarity, and so that you can solve it more easier. Please refer to these video tutorials as well as read your textbook. Okay, you can refer to this video as well as read your textbook and try and solve the exercises. It is fairly simple. Okay, you should not have any trouble trying to solve the exercise. This will bring us to the end of this grammar topic. Please solve the exercises, and if you still have doubts or if you need some clarification, please do not hesitate to consult any of the teachers. Okay, I'll get in touch with you with another video tutorials very soon. So for today this will be it. Thank you.